Hi fam. You're welcome once again back to my channel. If you're new here, this is me. This is not my real face though. This is my vamped up face. Anyway, my name is Nazo Eze and this is my space. You can be part of my family only if you will do one thing for me. If you look down, as I'm watching this video now, just look down. I think either on the right or the left, I don't know, but there is somewhere they wrote subscribe with red ink. Just tap on it. All you need to do is just tap. It's not, you don't have to pay, okay? It's free. All you need to do is just tap it and you're part of the family. It means you have subscribed. And after doing that, you will notice that there's a bell, a small bell just beside that subscribe. All you need is to tap it as well. So what that subscribe bell will do for you is that it will always notify you anytime I put up a new video. You will get a notification that she has uploaded. Oh, quickly go and watch. Oh. But if you're busy at that time, you will know that I've uploaded, and it means that whenever you're free, you can just come in and watch it. But in all, I say thank you to you guys for even watching, for even clicking on this thumbnail. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. God bless you. You know that your subscription means a lot to me. Please don't just watch the video and go. If you have a Gmail account, all you need to do is just to tap it and that's it. If you don't have a Gmail account, you will need to open a Gmail account to do that. But I'm not going to put you through that stress. It's fine as long as you're viewing my video. I'm okay with that one. I come to my OGs, the ones that have a special place in my heart. You guys know yourselves. I love you all. So today's video is a sit-down video. It's not a vlog. So in this sit-down video, I'm going to be talking about my stillbirth experience back in 2012. Now, if you know me well, you will know that if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that whenever I talk about my kids, I always say that I had 6 kids. Yes, as a matter of fact, I gave birth to 6 children, but only 5 are living. One of them was a stillbirth, and I think it's time I told you people the story of how it happened. So fam, I'll be smiling when telling this story only because I have healed from that experience. Because come to think of it, it happened 8 years ago. So to an extent, I've healed. It's not that I don't feel pain when I talk about it. When I dwell on it, if I decide to just dwell on it and keep on brooding over it, it brings that pain. But it's fine. I said let me tell the story anyway, because it's also a testimony, so that you people will help me to thank God for preserving my life. So in 2011, I just had my second baby, July 2011. And when she was 2 months old, guess what? Your girl found out that she was pregnant again. Yeah. It was horrible. Like when I found out that I was pregnant again while nursing a 2 months old baby, I wanted to run mad. I was like, wow. How manage? As in, I went to the hospital, I was crying to my doctor that, see you, I don't know what happened. He was like, what do you mean you don't know what happened? Go and carry your pregnancy, just avoid this, avoid that, be careful, this and that. And I was like, okay. And I came to terms with the pregnancy. I came to accept the pregnancy. And before I knew it, I had hit 37 weeks. Now, the pregnancy was quite uneventful. I had my normal pregnancy symptoms of nausea and vomiting and no bed rest this time around, because I was quite strong all through. It was just the beginning part of the pregnancy that I felt one kind, like we always feel, like majority of women feel. But towards the end, when I was about 35 weeks, I started feeling some type of way. Like I was having dizzy spells. Like I might be sitting now and I'll feel a little bit lightheaded, but I was like, anyway, maybe there's nothing, maybe I shouldn't think too much of it, because after all, every pregnancy comes with its own wahala and its own symptoms. And previously I had already had 2 babies, so I felt like this one is different. So I didn't think anything of the disease spells. So fast forward to 36 weeks. I felt like my baby wasn't moving much. And even though I know that towards the end, baby doesn't really have enough space to move around anymore. So I also thought, okay, maybe it's the fact that maybe this one is bigger, and maybe she doesn't really have, because it was a girl, maybe it doesn't really, she doesn't really have enough space to move around. Maybe she's just quiet and all. I didn't know that anything was going on. But I remember that particular day, that's 36 weeks. I told my husband that, I don't know, you know, when mothers, our instincts are never wrong. I told my husband that I don't like the way I feel. I feel weird. I feel like something is going on. This baby is not moving as much as she should, because I usually count their kicks. So she wasn't really moving so well. I told my husband, you know what? For us to have peace of mind, can we just go to the hospital? And he was like, fine, no problem, let's go. So that day, we went to the hospital and they checked the baby's heartbeat. The heart was beating, the heart rate was okay. They checked my pulse, everything, according to them, everything was fine. But I remember that the doctor that did the scan when I was at the hospital, he mentioned something. He said that if it was at Lutz, that they would not let me go home. He said I could go home, but I should know that if it was, no, not Lutz, UCH, Ibadan, I think. He said if it was there, that once I come and tell them that my baby is not moving well, that they will not let me go home, that they would have admitted me, but that he's letting me go home. But that the only thing I need to do for him is to be counting the kicks. He told me how to count it, and I should be writing strokes on a paper or something. I can't really remember, but I said okay. I went home. I was using the paper to count, and then I was also using the app I had on my iPad to count the kicks as well. And it seemed like everything was fine until the 37th week. One night, that night, I remember that day I felt my body felt off. I felt like I was going to have a fever. I wasn't generally feeling okay, and as usual I thought, anyway, is it not pregnancy? Anything, it comes in different forms. And I went to sleep. But one surprising thing that happened that day was that my husband, normally he retires like once it's about 9 p.m 10 p.m. If he doesn't have anywhere to go, he changes into his sleepwear and goes to bed. He just lays in bed and he'll be watching TV or checking his phone till he falls asleep. But that particular day, for some reason, this man was still fully dressed. As at 12 a.m. he was still fully dressed, belt, everything, sitting in the parlor downstairs while I was sleeping upstairs. So that night I felt like I was sleeping, and then I felt like I needed to pee. So I woke up. When I woke up, I felt something come out of me, like my water breaking. Because, well, actually, my previous 2 pregnancies, my water had never broken before. All I know is that it just trickles out like pee. But this one, I felt something come out, out of me. I was like, wow, was that my water? And the light was off. I was like, was that my water? This is still the 37th week. Maybe this one wants to come early. Thank God, shall let this one even come? Let me rest. That was what I thought. And then I opened, because the light was off, but the TV was on. So the TV light was what lit up the room. So I opened the blanket I used to cover myself, and what did I see? Blood. I was like, is this blood? I got down from the bed. As I got down from the bed, it felt like, you know when you fill a balloon with water and you drop it on the floor? It just felt like somebody dropped balloon from inside my thighs on the floor. Oof. Blood, like a big clot of blood came out of me and burst on the floor. I quickly went to the bedroom. As I was going to the bedroom, blood kept on pouring. I went into the bedroom. I peed. I don't know, I just had this sense of calmness, even though that was happening. I went into the bedroom. I peed. I came out. I called the girl that was living with me at the time. I called her and told her to go and call my husband. She said he was downstairs in the parlor. I was like, okay, tell him to come. So immediately he came upstairs and saw me. I said, I don't know. Blood everywhere. If you see the toilet, as I was peeing, blood was, oh God. Guys, the amount of blood that came out of me that day, I couldn't believe I had that type of blood inside me. As I was peeing, blood was pouring into the toilet. I came out. I carried my bag. I wasn't saying anything again. I told him, let us go. My husband, he was fully dressed. So all he needed to do was to grab his keys. And we left. So, and eventually I was like, it's God though. Because the time he would have used to dress up, because when we got to the hospital, the doctor was like, if we had wasted a little bit more time, if we had gotten to the hospital later than the time we got there, it would have been too late. So all my husband needed to do was grab his keys, and off we went. And you see, this devil, he's a fool. Like, he does not have sense. As we were leaving the house, one thought occurred to me. The devil said to me that, you see this house, you're not coming back to it. And immediately I heard that in my mind, I started to bind him. I was countering it. I said, God forbid, I am coming back to my house in Jesus' name. I am not going to die. I would come back and I would carry my children. That was what I was praying while I entered the car. And then my husband was off. Do you know, as he was driving, clots of blood kept on coming out. As in, it kept on, this thing kept on coming out non-stop until that baby came out. Anyway, we were going to the hospital. That time I was registered at Email Hospital, because each of my pregnancies, in fact, all my babies, I never used the hospital twice. I was having my babies in different hospitals. So this time around, for that baby, I was registered at Email Hospital. So we got to the hospital, and then when we got to, if you know Festac Town, you know that each close has a gate. So when we got to the gate of the close of Email Hospital, I felt myself slipping away. I felt myself going. I was struggling to stay conscious. And I remember telling my husband, even though my voice was not loud, I kept on saying, I'm passing out. I'm passing out. And I heard him telling me, he was pleading with me that I should not do this thing. He thought I was dying. In fact, he believed I was dying. So he was begging me not to go. I shouldn't do it. But it was at that point that I realized that if somebody is dying, there is basically nothing you can do about it though. Because I was fighting to stay awake. I was fighting to stay conscious, but I couldn't help it. In fact, I didn't even know when I passed out. All I know is that when I came to again, I saw that he was already packed in the compound of the hospital, in front of the entrance. All I know is that I had gone, and I now heard somebody's voice shouting. And in my mind, I was like, who is shouting? I was like, who is that shouting? And then I opened my eyes, and my husband was standing right beside me. He had left the driver's side and he came to the passenger side where I was sitting, and then he was trying to wake me up. It was later that he told me that time he was shouting my name, that my eyes were up, that my eyes had already rolled up, turned to the back of my head. It was only the white that was showing. So he was shouting my name, that I should come back, slapping my cheek. I couldn't feel anything. And at the same time, he was shouting, calling the nurses to come out. So the nurses came and carried me. And then to me, I felt like it was like 2 people or 3 people carrying me, but he said it was only the nurse that was taking me in. They told him to remove his hands, and she was taking me in. And then as I was going, I was bleeding. There was blood. I was just leaving a trail of blood as I was going. So they took me into the A&E room. That's the accident and emergency room. They took me in there and put me there. And I remember then that in my mind I was like, this same room, because when my dad had an accident in 2009, he was rushed to that same Email Hospital, and the same room they took him to when he was unconscious was where they took me to. And in my mind I was like, this same room. But I was just laying there. Do you know that when they were working on me, they were trying to pump fluids into me? They checked my pulse. I had no pulse. Like, my pulse was 0. They checked my BP. It was flat. And when I looked at the doctors and the nurses, they were looking at me strangely, like, what is going on? How is this woman still alive? How is this woman still talking? Because as they were doing that, I was talking to them. Because when they were pumping fluids into me, they were inserted a needle in one hand, another in the other hand, and 2 nurses were there pumping it fast into me. And one other person was trying to check my baby's heartbeat with the scan. Me, I was focused on the person that was checking my baby's heartbeat. I was asking him, what is going on? Is my baby alive? I was just calm. And they were looking at me like, how is she talking? Then he was telling me, he didn't want to answer me. He didn't want to tell me anything. He was just doing what he was doing. But I heard one of them whisper to the other person that, is there an ambulance available? And in my mind I was like, ambulance, making, God forbid, nobody's carrying me into an ambulance, and it was not me. I was just praying in my mind, and then I told them, please, I want to make a call. They were like, who do you want to call? I said, I want to call one. There was one lady that I used to pray with a lot. I said I wanted to call her. They said, no, you can't call anybody for now, just wait, just calm down. They were busy working on me, and then when they checked me again, my pulse was now coming back. It was faint, but it was there. So they kept on pumping the fluids, checking my BP. So when they felt like I had stabilized to an extent, the guy that was checking for my baby's heartbeat now told me that, madam, that I'm sorry to say that we couldn't find a heartbeat. So I was like, so my baby is dead? He said, it seems so, but are you in labor? Do you know, when he even said my baby was dead, it didn't still sink in. I didn't still get it. That's why I was still answering. He was like, are you in labor? I said, I don't know. All I know is that I've been having Braxton Hicks contractions, because when I'm pregnant, I start having my Braxton Hicks contractions as early as 4 months, and I have those contractions till the end of the pregnancy. But that evening, it was kind of frequent but painless. So I told him that I don't know, that I've been having contractions. He said, okay, no problem, that they will take me upstairs, that they will try to deliver the baby, that if I cannot deliver the baby normally, they'll have to operate on me and bring out the baby. And in my mind, I was like, operate on who to bring out what? A dead baby? Then I'll start going through the pain of operation. I said, no, I'm going to have this baby normally. Induce me or something. Just let me deliver the baby. So then they now allowed my husband to come in and see me. So he now came in and told me that they said the baby is dead, but that it's okay, that it's fine, that I'm alive, that was what matters, that we will have other babies. So he was just trying to console me. But all I had in mind then was, let me come out of this thing first. So and all the while I was still bleeding, as I kept on, just bear in mind that blood was still coming out of me. Even when the doctor came, the doctor was like asking another nurse that, all this blood came out from this woman? They said yes. And when I look at them, they will have this kind of fear and shock on their faces. At a point, they couldn't even look at me anymore. I don't know why, but they couldn't look at me. So they carried me upstairs to the labor room, and I was still having the contractions. And then, as God will have it, the contractions started getting stronger and stronger, which meant that I didn't need to be induced anymore, and it meant that I wasn't going to be operated on, because the labor was now progressing. They now checked me and said that I was actually about 6 centimeters dilated, so I was now laboring. But the blood kept on coming out. So they now, next thing, I don't know how long it took, but I knew that at a point I got fully dilated, and they were like, it's time to push. So as I was pushing, I pushed like me. I always push like twice and my babies come out. But I think that particular one, I pushed like 3 times for the baby to come out. Because, okay, when I pushed the second time, I heard one of them saying, bring scissors, bring scalpel. And in my mind, I was like, Guinea, you want to give me tear, so that after having the baby, I'll start going through the pain of tear without a baby to carry. Because normally, when you have a baby, when you have that tear or CS or whatever, and you're going through that pain, the only thing that consoles me is the fact that I have a beautiful baby that I'm carrying, right? And they now wanted to give me tear when there is no baby to carry, to use to console myself. I said no. As I was hearing that, bring scissors, bring scalpel, I pushed it out. Like, I pushed out the baby. And they were even shocked. It was later they were asking me, with all this blood that came out of you, how did you have the strength to push out the baby? My dear, I don't know. It was just God. Like, you see, God walked over time in my life that night. Like, the way God showed up for me that night, I will never forget. So I pushed out the baby, but I was still bleeding. So they now had to try to stop the bleeding. So I remember the doctor now, he was now putting his whole hand inside, trying to bring out clots. So I don't know how they do it, but he was just trying to stop the bleeding. And it was so painful. Oh my God. It was so painful. I was fighting them off. I was trying to fight. So some nurses were holding my leg, some other nurses were holding my hand, but I was still strong enough to fight. So what they now did was they gave me an injection that now wore me out. I couldn't fight anymore. I was now feeling drowsy. So he was able to do whatever he was doing, and he was able to finally stop the bleeding. And then they brought out my baby. My baby was just there. I just saw them. They just wrapped the baby with green cloths and kept her on the table beside me. So when I was now okay, I now called one of the nurses that I want to see my baby. She was like, Nigerians, I just don't know. If it's abroad, they will actually dress your baby up. Even though the baby is there, they will dress your baby up and bring your baby to you. You even take pictures and everything. But here, they will just wrap it and keep one side. I was begging her, can I see her, please? She refused. I know it's tough love or whatever, but she just didn't want me. She was trying to save me, to protect me from the pain. Maybe because she knew that I would always remember her face after seeing her. So she was like, why do you want to see her now? There's no need. There's no need. No need. Don't look at her. I said, I want to see her. I carried her for 9 months. Please let me see her. So my husband was begging for me. At first he was like, no, you don't need to see her. But I said, I have to see her. If I don't see her, I won't forgive myself. And then they now said, okay. She now brought her. But she didn't let me hold her. She just held her from where she was standing and let me look at her. And I was like, oh, she was beautiful though. She was a very beautiful baby. And she had a head full of hair. And she looked like me a lot. In fact, she looks just like Boo Boo. She looks just like this, my last baby. So she now wrapped her. She didn't let me hold her. But you know that even at that point, it hadn't really sunk into me that my baby was dead. I was just feeling a little bit bad. Then they now wrapped her and kept her on the table again. At a point, they left just me and her in the room. So they were waiting for a room to open up for them to transfer me to the room. Abi? I can't remember, but they left me in that room for some time with the baby. And then I was praying in my mind that, Father Lord, please, can you just do a miracle? Can you wake her up? Let me hear her cry. But that did not happen. Eventually, I don't even know when they took her away. And my husband, that morning, if you see the rain that was falling that morning, this thing happened on the 2nd of July, 2012. Heavy rain, like heavy rain. So I remember my sister, my elder sister was the first one I called. And I called her and told her that I just had the baby, but that the baby died. She was silent for some time. And I now told her to tell my mom. So she now called my mom and told her. Then later my mom now came. They now moved me to the other room. But it still did not hit me that my baby was dead. I think I was still in shock. So they now moved me to the other room. They had to give me blood because I lost too much blood. I lost too much blood to the extent that when they discharged me, when I got home, do you know, for some weeks I could not walk without holding the wall. Each time I was walking, I was holding the wall. And another significant thing that happened during that delivery was that I saw one of my friends that was dead. I saw him with my 2 eyes. His name was Madu. While they were fighting to save my life and I was lying down there, I saw him standing by the door, smiling. And in my mind, I was like, is this not Madu? Is Madu not dead? What is Madu doing here? I was just looking at him. He was smiling, but he did not come close to me. He was just smiling. At the point, I couldn't see him anymore. That's when I knew that I was about to cross over. Like, God saved my life. You see my name, Chinazom. God saves me. That's the meaning of my name. He really, really, really saves me. The way God saved me, I was going to die. Like, I was supposed to die. But he said no. And he saved my life. Okay, so I was now in that other room waiting. I didn't know when my husband now took my baby and buried. He went with one of our wedding sponsors. They went together and then they buried her at the cemetery. So he came back and I was now asking him, where is the baby? He said they had buried her. I felt sad, but it still had not hit me. So it was the next morning when I got up to go and take my bath. I now went into the restroom. As I was taking my shower, what did I hear? Another person's baby crying from another room. That was when I was like, wait, hold on. Where is my baby? That was when it hit me. It took the cry of another newborn baby to make me aware that I actually lost my baby, that my baby actually died, that the baby I carried in my belly for 9 months and bonded with while she was in my belly was dead and buried. I sat there in the bedroom, and started crying, like cry. Oh my God. I just remember that my mom now came in. You know, mothers, African mothers and tough love. As in, I did not want to hear. I was just crying that, where is my baby? How come my arms are empty? Where is my baby? How come I'm not carrying my baby? How come? Oh my God. It was horrible. You see that experience, eh? Even on my enemy, I do not wish that experience to happen to anybody I know. It was horrible. So I managed to stop crying, and then I came out, I stayed in the room, and then I was quiet. Like I was lying down facing the wall. I was just quiet. My husband came in. I wasn't really saying anything. I refused to eat anymore. I was just thinking, so my baby died? You people are telling me that my baby died? Like, she died. And I named her because I usually name my babies. When I get pregnant, immediately I find out what I'm having, I name them. So her name was Chioma Giselle. Chioma Giselle. So I was like, so Chioma, yeah, people are trying to say that I'm not going to carry Chioma. Like all the baby things that I bought that are in the house, Chioma will not use them. Like your people are trying to tell me that the crib that I set up with the baby bumper and everything, that Chioma will not be there. Hey! It was hard. It was hard. But eventually, I began to get better. When I now entered the room at home and saw the crib and saw the table I set for baby bottles and everything, I sat down on my bed and started crying again. My mom now came. It was as if she was guarding me. She was just everywhere, waiting to hear her cry. But I don't think that thing is so good, because sometimes you should let people grieve. So she came in again. Do you want God to be angry with you? And I didn't really have that chance, that space to cry. But eventually I started to heal. But I saw my other two kids, and then it made me, the sight of them consoled me, because I was like, okay, what if I had died? So my children would have been motherless. So in my mind I was like, God, thank you for keeping my life. But people were coming, and when they come, I know that most times they mean well when they say things like, that baby did not want to stay. Okay, the one that wants to stay will come. When they say things like that, they actually mean well, but they don't know it's not so good to say that to a grieving mom. You don't condemn a dead baby, because see, that baby was a human being. That baby was actually her baby. Don't say things like, some of them even go as far as insulting the dead baby. It's not right. It's not right. Just don't, if you don't know what to say, just say sorry. God will bring another one. Don't say things like, that one did not want to stay. The one that wants to stay will come and stay. It's not okay. I remember I had to take a lot of ugu water to replenish the blood that I lost, because I lost a lot of blood. It was only God that saved me, and I'm eternally grateful to him for keeping my life. You know that when we got to the hospital, they did not know what was wrong. They did not know what went wrong. They were brainstorming that what could have happened. Was it placenta abruption? They said, no, it's not placenta abruption, because the placenta, even to deliver the placenta after baby came out, it was hard for them to detach that placenta. So it was not an abruption. They were like, what's now happened? Because of that, my subsequent pregnancies had to be CS. That's why I was now having CS. I had 3 CS. After having 3 vaginal deliveries, that's why I had CS, because the next pregnancy, I was so scared. I was just paying attention to my body, any little sign, because remember that time I said I was always feeling dizzy. It was later that I realized that I think I was bleeding inside. That blood that came out, poof, it was blood that had pulled up over time, that burst and came out. So I was bleeding inside, and that's why I was having those tiny lightheaded disease spells. When I got to the next hospital, when I was pregnant the next time, they were like, okay, since the doctors at the other hospital could not say what was wrong, it means that at 37 weeks, because it happened at 37 weeks, they will just deliver the baby. I had to choose between CS and vaginal delivery. So that's why I was not choosing CS. It was when they opened me up, my first CS, that they saw what happened. It was a uterine rupture. The wall of my uterus was thin. There was a video, I made a video before, I talked about it. The wall of my uterus was paper thin. So the frequent contractions kind of ruptured it. I don't know, I can't explain, but it sure ruptured. That was the cause of all the blood. That was the cause of my baby's death and everything. I am grateful to God for keeping me alive. After all, after Chioma, I have gone on to have 3 more babies. God has really blessed me, and my quiver is now full. I'm done having babies. But I said, let me share this testimony because God saved my life. I want you guys to know the way that he saved my life. He planned everything from the as in, he knew it was going to happen, and he put measures in place to make sure that I lived. Starting from the fact that he let my hubby still remain fully dressed. He didn't need to waste time to go and start looking for clothes, because that kind of thing, he can be confused. My husband he can just be confused. He won't even know what to wear. But at that point, he was already fully dressed. All he needed to do was to grab his keys. He was wearing his slippers and everything. All he needed to do was grab his keys, and we were off. And even despite all the heavy blood loss, God still kept my life to be able to take care of my babies. And one of those babies is coming down the stairs right now, and I do not know why she's coming down. So let me quickly round up. She's singing. She's coming. Anyway, guys, so this is the story of my stillbirth. If you have watched up to this point, I say thank you so much for sticking with me. Please leave a comment. Please like my video. Please share. Remember that to like is important, to share is important, but to subscribe is what? Important test. I will see you in my next video. Bye.